Anyone ever seen Chariots of Fire? And if you haven't, don't worry at all. But it's about a Scotsman, and his name was Eric Liddell. Eric Liddell. And Eric Liddell was the fastest athlete in the world in his day. And they called him the Flying Scotsman. A train was named after him. It's still in operation to this day. The Flying Scotsman. And he said this: God has made me fast, and when I run, I feel his pleasure. God's put something inside of me when I do it, I just know. And he had a strange way of running. It wasn't all aerodynamic, and people would laugh at it, but he was the fastest man in the world, everybody. He got chosen to run for the Great Britain team in the 1924 Olympics. Everyone was saying he's just going to win. It's going to be Britain's gold. It's guaranteed. And then he found out that one of his heats, qualifying heats, was on a Sunday. And he was a strict Sabbatarian. Don't make this the point. He just thought, this is a conscience thing. I need to honor God with it. And he said, I'm not going to run on the Sabbath. Well, the British Empire, they were mad. They sent over the equivalent of Prince Charles, King's son, the Prince of Wales, sent him over and said to him, you need to do this for king and country. He said, I serve a bigger king and a greater kingdom. And he refused to run. And they said, what are we going to do with you? And one of the coaches turned around and said, well, we've one spare place. We've got a man down in the 400 meters. And they go, well, he can't run 400 meters. And you know this track and field, 100 meters, 400 meters, different disciplines. Said, we need someone to make it up. He actually managed to get in the final as the slowest qualifier to get into the final. He was drawn in the outside lane, the slow lane. And you know what? He was just making up the numbers. Listen to this. Eric Liddell, not only did he win gold, he broke the world record. And he said this: whoever honors God, God will honor them. The world was all accolades. Eric Liddell, Eric Liddell. You know what he did after that? He immediately retired. Again, British Empire was so mad. He retired because he said, I made God a promise that if he helped me in athletics, I would go and serve him. And he took his wife, his 2 young girls, and they moved to the mission field in China to tell people about Jesus Christ that had never heard him before. When he was in China, after a couple of years serving God, he and his wife made the very, very brave decision to let Eric go up to the northeast of China and bring the message there. Literally, the gospel had never gone there, but they knew there was threat in that area because often the Japanese were attacking. And after he went up there and he was separated from his wife, Japanese invaded that part of China and they put Eric in a concentration camp. A place of incredible brokenness. But Eric was a person that lived for Jesus. And what he did, he took the whole principles of the early church, the teachings of Jesus, and he said, I'm going to remain devoted to these things, even in hell itself. And I'm going to create a sense of fellowship. And I'm going to love on all of my fellow prisoners, and I'll make sure that they feel like the early church, and I'm going to take care of them, even with the little that I have. And you know what? I'm going to keep Jesus the focus of my life. He gave everything for me. I'm going to give everything for them. You see, breaking of bread is not just a little Christian tradition. It's something we live out in our lives. And so when he was there, he noticed that a guy didn't have shoes and he was constantly walking around in the mud in his bare feet. And one day Eric came to him with a little bag and he said, I think you need these more than me. And he gave him a pair of shoes, but they were the running shoes that he won his gold medal with in Paris in 1924. He said, it'd be better if you had these. Eric Liddell died in that concentration camp. He was 43 years old. Later it was discovered that Winston Churchill had been working on a prisoner swap so that Eric Liddell could be released. Everything was organized, but at the last moment Eric said, I'm not going. Let that lady go because she's pregnant. She needs it more than me. And quite literally, he signed his death warrant at that moment. People, that's Jesus. That's the early church. That's what it is to say, I'm all in. It says they were devoted. They weren't casually aligned. It wasn't my parents bring me. It was I'm all in. Why? Because I know that I found the truth in a person called Jesus. Yes, I am devoted to the truth. Absolutely devoted to the truth. I'm devoted to others in my life, and I'm going to live my life with exceptional gratitude. And whatever it takes, I'm going to live it out.